The Junkers Ju-87, or as more commonly known the Stuka, was Nazi Germany's most feared dive bomber. Its designer Hermann Pohlmann believed that simplicity was the key factor in building an effective bomber. For this reason, the aircraft received a fixed undercarriage as opposed to a retractable one, and easily recognizable inverted gull wings. The plane was mainly constructed out of various aluminium alloys, while parts that required heavy stress used steel. Many hatches and removable coverings were fitted, and the welding of parts was avoided wherever possible to aid repairs. Dive brakes were placed under the wings for a constant speed when diving to help aim the bomb and reduce G-forces upon pulling out of the maneuver. The fuel tanks were installed within the wings, which could house 880 liters of fuel, enough for 2 hours and 15 minutes of flight. Early versions were fitted with Pratt & Whitney Hornet and Rolls-Royce Castrol engines. Later designs would be fitted with increasingly stronger variants of the Jumo 210 engine. Despite the praise of its test pilots, Wolfram von Richthofen, a World War I flying ace, thought the plane was underpowered and the development of a rival plane, the Heinkel HE-118, should be prioritized. However, after the Heinkel crashed in a test dive due to its propeller's fragility, the Stuka once again enjoyed priority of development. The Stuka wasn't without her own design flaws either. While praised for its great maneuverability and strong airframe, it still lacked critical engine power and could only reach a top speed of 280 km at ground level, which was of great concern to Richthofen, as this meant the escape from enemy ground and air defenses would be dangerous, something that would become painfully apparent in the Battle of Britain. The Ju-87's success in the early phases of the war was undeniable, however. They played an important role in the rapid surprise attacks that the rest of the world referred to as Blitzkrieg. The bombers approached at an altitude of 4,600 meters and located their targets through the bomb sight in the cockpit floor. The pilot moved the dive lever to the rear and reduced the throttle. The pilot then rode the plane upside down, from which the aircraft began to nose down. The plane descended at an angle from 60 degrees up to completely vertical and held a constant speed between 500 and 600 km per hour with the use of air brakes. At a minimum height of 450 meters, the bomb is dropped and the automatic pull-out mechanism is activated, which pulls the aircraft out of the dive, subjecting the pilot to more than 5 G of force, which causes visual impairment and can cause the pilot to black out. The system was fitted to avoid crashing the plane if the pilot lost consciousness in the middle of making this maneuver manually. The plane was feared by the enemy for its high accuracy strikes as well as a certain sound it produced. Some of the bombers were fitted with what is most commonly referred to as Jericho trumpets. It was a simple propeller attached to the landing gears that produced a sound when driven. Many pilots actually chose to have them removed, as the early versions could not be turned off and annoyed them through the entirety of flights. The upper hand that the Ju-87s enjoyed was no longer there in 1940. In the Battle of Britain, their greatest weakness, the lack of speed, proved deadly. With no fighter support of their own, organized fighter attacks decimated the bombers, which promptly led to their withdrawal. With no alternative, they would continue deployment through the war until they were replaced by ground attack versions of the Focke-Wulf 190. Post-war research revealed that dive bombing was far less effective than what the pilots claimed. Most drops were misjudged for a number of reasons, and so besides acting as suppression, they were greatly ineffective as anti-tank weapons. Germany hadn't examined their bombers' effectiveness, but their impact at the start of the war was felt nonetheless.